Hello, very good morning and welcome to Athavan newspaper highlights. Today, Tuesday, 28th of March 2017. This is Edward with the highlights of today's English newspapers. Firstly, let's have a look on the Daily Mirror. The main headline of the Daily Mirror highlights: murdering civilians under cover of war won't be condemned. CBK says accountability means being fair on both sides of the conflict. Later, she spoke to the residents of Ponnalai. Former President Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga has said that anyone proven guilty of murdering innocent civilians under the pretext of fighting a war will be held accountable through a due process, and that accountability means being fair on both sides of the conflict. Ms. Kumaratunga said this when addressing a workshop for the security forces to create awareness about the work being carried out by the ONUR and the reconciliation priorities of the government. Redress for Vimal Veeravansa, Joe 6 President's PM's intervention. A joint opposition delegation yesterday met President Maithripala Sirisena and Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe and sought redress for MP Vimal Veeravansa, who is now on a hunger strike as a remand prisoner. Gota refutes claim of special unit. My security was selected by Sarath Fonseca. Army chief was responsible for every single soldier. Accuses Fonseca of saying things in anger. Mangala could have done better in Geneva. Blames Samantha Power and Susan Rice for targeting Sri Lanka security forces. Asked especially if he was aware of the existence of a special unit established to attack journalists as alleged by former Army Commander Sarath Fonseca, former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa yesterday asked whose unit, under whom, and held that the Army Commander was responsible for every single soldier. Secondly, let's move to Daily News. The main headline of the Daily News highlights: issuance of treasury bonds, insider information leakage a possibility, unusual bidding patterns. There is a possibility of an insider information leakage from the part of Public Debt Department or otherwise when issuing treasury bonds. The Deputy Governor, ex officio chairman of the Tender Board, P. Samarasiri, said yesterday. He said he believes the true reason behind the treasury bond issue is not the introduction of purely an auction system but a leakage of insider information. Government ensures full transparency. Minister Madhuma Bandara. The good governance government has no need to conceal any document, including the Hambantota Port concessionary agreement. Public Administration and Management Minister Ranjith Madhuma Bandara said. He said that it was the previous government that concealed the content of the agreements. Now anybody has access to those details of agreements as this government passed the Right to Information Bill, the minister said. Finally, let's move to Ceylon today. Disappointed Jaffna citizens protest over Tamil Nadu politicians blocking Rajinikanth's visit. A massed protest was held in Jaffna at 3 p.m. yesterday against Tamil Nadu politicians Thol Thirumavalavan, T. Velmurugan and Y. Gopalsamy, who prevented the superstar of Tamil cinema, Rajinikanth, visiting Jaffna to hand over the keys of 150 houses built by Laika to homeless people who had been affected by the separatist war. Al Jazeera and AFP misleading the readers, says Gamanpila. Pivithuru Hela Urumiya General Secretary Udaya Gamanpila yesterday asserted that the news published by international news agencies Al Jazeera and AFP on the Lasantha Wickrematunge murder trial were false and had misled the readers. Al Jazeera news agency on 12 March had reported that the Criminal Investigations Department told the Mount Lavinia Magistrates Court that Gotabaya Rajapaksa led a unit that is accused of assassinating former Sunday Leader newspaper editor Lasantha Wickrematunge under the headline of ex-leader's brother-led death squad in Sri Lanka. Another international news agency, AFP, had also reported the incident in similar manner. The CID never mentioned Gotabaya Rajapaksa's name in the court. The police have never mentioned any such things, said Gamanpila. With that, let's come to an end of today's paper highlights. We will come with more news tomorrow morning. Thanks for listening to Athavan newspaper highlights.